for another prayer and Bible band. Excuse me, Bible band lesson. And I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna start a little early, man. I'm coming down with something, man. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm feeling real bad right now, man. But we got work to do, and I'm gonna try to do it to the best of my ability. So this month we a long video tonight with long prayers and whatnot. You can excuse me. You can definitely put your prayers in the your prayer requests in the chat, and we'll get to them. You know, I look on them and pray, and I'll just pray, praying and believing God that He would do just what we need Him to do, and even if He don't do it, we know that He can. So, uh, please pray for me. I'm about, I'm probably about 50% right now. I don't hardly got too much energy, but we gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. So do me a favor, as you all come in, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Today's title of the Bible study is The Garden Experience. The Garden Experience. And we definitely thank God for this lesson. The background reading for this lesson is found in Genesis, the second chapter, 8 verses 8 excuse me, verses 8 through 17. So Genesis, second chapter, verse 8 through 17. And then Kings, the 21st chapter, verse 18. Ezekiel, the 28th chapter, verse 13. Songs of Solomon, the 6th chapter, verses 2 and 3. And I believe verse 11 as well. Then we have John, the 18th chapter, and the first verse. Our devotional reading for tonight is found in Matthew's, the 26th chapter, verses 36 through 56, and Genesis 3, 1 through 24. So as you can see, we got a lot of reading tonight. So I may cut this down because I don't want this to be a video with excuse me, well, I'm coughing all the way through it. So I was trying to get over it, but man, it just came back. Man, it's pretty rough right now. Got a little slight temperature, but to God be the glory, man. We're gonna get in here. Our central verse is found in John, the book of John, the 19th chapter, in the fourth verse, and it says, "Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, wherein was never a man yet laid." That's John 19 and 4. All right, so y'all bear along with me. All right, I want to get this out because I don't want us to get behind on these Bible lessons. All right, this is this week's Bible lesson, the Garden Experience. In our introduction, it says there is something refreshing about looking at a beautiful garden. Gardens are created for several reasons, including beauty. Some gardens only have beauty but no real function. But then there are other gardens which are beautiful but are functional. They provide necessary things: the tree for shade, the borders for walkways, lawn spaces and patio spaces, fruit trees and vegetable patches. The lovely flower all help to create a wonderful place called gardens. The garden helps make up the landscape of the house or building. All right. One of the most beautiful places I ever seen was a rose garden. Any of y'all ever seen a rose garden? Like put a one in the chat if you ever seen a rose garden or if you have one. Um, the garden helps. Let me see the rose garden. I have ever seen was the rose garden at the White House in Washington D.C. It was a beautiful and relaxing. It had wonderful smells emanting from it and was very peaceful. All right. There are many different types of gardens, but they each have their own function. The rock garden helps keep the soil in place and provides beauty. The vegetable garden provides food for human consumption and animals. Vegetables and flower gardens are the most common gardens in all parts of the world. All right. Excuse me. Then there is the herb garden, which are grown for medicines as well as for cooking purposes. These gardens are easy to maintain and need plenty of sunlight and little checkups. Gardens can be created in almost excuse me, in almost any place. Inside the house, on the roof, excuse me, inside the house, on the roof of a house or apartment, wherever there is little space. All right. In our discussions, my brothers and sisters, the first garden we hear about in the Bible is the Garden of Eden, which God and the Godhead created. It was biblical paradise, excuse me, described in Genesis 2 and 3, Ezekiel 28 and 31. It is reported one of the most beautiful places ever created. God put everything in that garden to make life wonderful and pleasing for Adam. The Bible describes the garden as a place likened, excuse me, likened to paradise. Hey, Spleen. Hey, Sister Wagner. Y'all praying for me? Man, this stuff got me. This stuff got me tied up here, but we're gonna get through this. God bless you, Brother Spleen. Uh, the Bible describes the garden as a place likened to paradise, a place of bliss and delight. It had every beautiful tree to look at, and every tree that was good for food. God also put the tree of life in the garden, in the midst of the garden, right? This tree was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river ran from Eden to provide water for the garden. This river divided into four different rivers. The first, called Pison, which comprised the entire land of Havilah, a place, a place of gold, right? As today, the location is unknown. It, it is known to be a place of gold, beldium, and oxide stones, and rich in minerals. Excuse me. The name of the second river is Gihon, which comprised the entire country of Ethiopia. The third river was named Hiddekel, the Tigris River. It goes to excuse me, it goes towards the east of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates River, which is exceptionally large and important. I'm going to get through this, y'all. Talking about garden secrets, right? Uh, God put Adam in the garden to take care of it. He gave instructions concerning the garden, for he told Adam that he could eat from all the trees except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam the day that he ate from the tree of knowledge, he would surely die. After God put Adam in the garden, he put him to sleep. He took a rib, formed a woman from the rib, and put her in the garden with him. All right. Adam had the best of everything: beautiful home, everything he needed to be happy and content, and the food and water he needed, a beautiful wife. All the animals were there at his disposal. He named them. God came in the cool of the evening, and his voice talked to him. But his garden experience wasn't enough for him. He didn't obey God. Oh my goodness. He didn't obey God. For he ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He allowed Eve to influence him more than God did. Ooh, that's a problem. It's this book right here, brother. We almost done with this quarter. Uh, excuse me. I'll put the link up so you all can get the next quarter, which is the fall quarter. All right. This will be September, October, and November. All right. So I do that. No, this is a Bible study, but it also has a devotional in it as well. All right. Let's see. Where was I at? Uh, He didn't obey God, for he ate from the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He allowed Eve to influence him more than God. Therefore, he disobeyed God's law. It must have been frightening to see that he was naked in the garden. He lost his innocence and became aware of evil by one act of disobedience. It was a life-changing experience for Adam, Eve, and the serpent. They were all put out of the garden and placed under a curse. Man, so for those of us that have children, we know when they when they have done something wrong, it's just a certain look on their face. It's a certain look on their faces when they've done something wrong. They losing the innocence little by little by little. And man, especially when they done something really wrong, like fornicate or anything like that, it's like they lose all of their innocence, and you can start to see them grow up faster than what it is. I don't know if anybody out there has seen that happen before, but I've seen that happen. Thank God, not my own children, but I've seen that happen in other people's children. So we definitely want to talk to our children that they don't disobey God, no matter what it is, because a lot of them is just temptation. All right, get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time and doing the wrong thing. It ain't it's no harm. Oh, it ain't no harm. It ain't no harm to do this and that. And then next thing you know, somebody comes up pregnant, right? Because this flesh, you cannot trust this flesh, right? In the New Testament, there's another garden that was the place of a life-changing experience. God had allowed his son Jesus to come to the earth, live among the corruption of the world for 33 years as a man wrapped in flesh. When he came to him for when he, when it came time for him to die, his flesh did not want to do it. He took three of his disciples with him in the Garden of Gethsemane, and there he had a life-changing experience. Right? The Bible indicates that the Garden of Gethsemane excuse me, the Bible indicates that the Garden of Gethsemane is on the Mount of Olives, a historic place of great significance throughout the Bible. Mount Olives was a place of many olive trees. It's set on about 200, excuse me, 200 feet above sea level and gives the unobstructed view of Jerusalem. The valley of Kidron is saturated between the mountains and Jerusalem, the region Jesus often visited in his travels throughout the Gospels. After Jesus had supper with his disciples, where he told them what would happen to him, he took three of his closest friends, Peter, James, and John, with him to this garden. The garden was a place of great importance to Jesus, for it was there where it was there that he retreated into a deep prayer in a time of agony before his arrest and crucifixion. It was in this garden that he wrestled in great sorrow with the torture and humiliation that he knew was before him. In conclusion, my brothers and sisters, Jesus was distraught. He told his disciples to sit here a while and pray. He told them that he was sad and needed them to watch. He said, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." Mark 14:32. He walked a little farther from them and sank to his knees and cried out to his Father. In the garden, he prayed with much intensity that sweat like drops of blood came from him. In this garden, he let his Father know that he did not want to die. It was here that he experienced his life-changing experience. Excuse me. Where he came to the place where he could say, "Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done." It may not be a physical garden, but each believer must reconcile within himself that nevertheless, not my will, but God's will be done. It was by one man's sin, Adam, in the Garden of Eden, that all mankind became guilty of sin. But by one man, the man Jesus, every man can be redeemed because Jesus came face to face with himself in the Garden of Gethsemane. Each person now has the right to the tree of life. And is excuse me, you all. I'm gonna take some more medicine as soon as I get done with this. All right. And it is because the man Jesus died for the sins of the world that the curse has been broken. What will your garden experience be? What will you allow God to bless you with life and all the wonderful things that He has made available to you mean nothing to you? Will you allow the influences of others, as Adam did, to cause you to disobey God and be lost? Or will you allow the Garden of Gethsemane to influence you, where you can say no to your flesh and yes to your desires, and say yes to God, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. All right. The central thought for tonight's lesson is believers must be willing to allow a nevertheless experience to be life changing to them. I don't know about you all, but have you ever had a nevertheless where you really didn't want to do what you know you had to do, but you had to tell God, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done? Listen, I'm gonna ask you all that you all pray for me. Pray for me that I can get over whatever this is. I got some medicine I'm getting ready to take. I got a little slight fever, and I'm gonna take it and lay down and get some rest. All right, so this Bible lesson is cut a little short because I just wanted to get through it, and I didn't want to keep coughing. So forgive me for not having any prayer tonight. You day, God see you, brother, and God knows everything you're going through. Right? We praying that God will bless your situation. We're praying that God will touch your situation, and whatever it is, that you have a nevertheless experience, right? And that you would do the will of God concerning whatever that situation is. And I say God would touch anybody's body, starting with me, touch our bodies, that we be made whole, and and that we just overcome this. All right. Hey, Sister Thelma, God bless you. God bless you. Will, what's going on, my brother? Man, I'm so glad to see you, man. Man, I'm not doing the best, but nevertheless, right? Some said, "Let's go ahead, lay down, take your medicine." No, I got to get this lesson out. Nevertheless, let's do what the will of God is saying. All right. So I wish I could have got one of you all on to pray tonight. There's gonna be some times where I'm gonna need help. Times like this, where you all can come and pray. I'll bring you in, and you all can pray for the people. Right? We minister, minister together, and pray for me. All right. Pray for pray for my family. I took a COVID test, and the COVID test came back negative. But man, if this ain't COVID, man, it's doing a good impersonation. All right. So we're not claiming none of that. We don't we don't claim it at all. But nevertheless, that will be done. All right. So the Bible says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord will deliver them out of, out of them all. All right. So you all have a great night. Keep me in your prayers, and I will be praying for you all as well. No, no, sis. I got I got a temp. I got chills. This is either the flu or COVID, and it just didn't show up the first time. Right. So I'm going to get rest, as Brother Will is telling me. See, I'm obeying Brother Will tonight. I'm going to get rest. All right. I can care less about numbers, anything like that. I just want to get on and get this lesson done, that people will understand the garden experience. All right. Next week, And that sweet lesson. Oh boy, I kind of felt a little get up in me. And I felt a little get up down in my soul when I saw this one. Resisting the devil. All of this talking about, all of this talking about, I rebuke you in the I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. This say resist him and he'll flee. Just resist him. And he got to go according to the word of God. All right. So with the end, I'm Elder Derrick Strickland. And it's my wish for you that you all be blessed. And then go out there and be a blessing. All right. I love you all. It ain't nothing you can do about it. Peace.